Everyone, Reaper here again with my new comic book haul video. I guess this makes it, what is it, number 5. The New York Comic Con comic book haul video I did, even though the number wasn't in the title, it probably was the official comic book haul 4 video. So with this one, I'm going to call this Comic Book Haul 5. As you can see, the PlayStation 4 Destiny bundle is part of the background. Um, this is actually not mine. It's a friend of mine. I'm just holding it for her until Christmas. So I figured, hey, put it in the video. Use it as a background. Makes everything look nice. Okay, let's start the comic book haul. I got quite a few issues within the last few weeks. I know in the last video I said, my comic book haul videos, there are going to be less comics, but yeah, I guess that didn't work out too well. So, as I usually do with this, I try to save the most important for last. Not that the ones I got are not important, but I try to save the best for last. So that's the order I try to do these. So without further ado, let's start. Cyblade She, number 1, the special preview teaser. This is the first appearance of Witchblade. Being that I have a lot of books for this video, I'm not going to talk too much about each book the way I usually do. I'm going to try to move it along fairly quickly. But this is the first appearance of Sarah Pazzini, as you may all well know, as Witchblade. This is the special preview teaser book. But I also got the other ones. As you can see here. There's quite a few of them. I just hope, forgive me if these slide off. It's, not very sturdy over here, so. And here's another one. And here's the other one. So I believe these are all of them, all 5 of them. But I think all of these are pretty much credited as the first appearance of Witchblade. But I think this one tends to be, it came out a little bit before this, I believe. But I still think they're all credited as the first appearance of Witchblade. And here we go. Moving right along, continuing with Witchblade. Witchblade number 1. I found this in the dollar bin at one of my local comic book stores. It's the first printing. And really, really nice shape. I think it's near mint. I haven't had a chance to fully grade it just yet, but when I was looking at it briefly before I put it in the bag, it was about, I would say, a near mint. But I have to just double check. And with that, Witchblade number 10, which is the first appearance of the Darkness. And this is the variant cover with the gold press logo on the top. It's the one that's a little more valuable than the others. But if you have the others, this is just a variant copy. They're all considered the first appearance of the Darkness. I don't know if anyone, like with the game here, PlayStation 4, I think a couple years ago, the Darkness video games came out starring, obviously, the Darkness. So, I don't know, I heard there might be a movie coming out or another game. So, this is worth picking up. Both of them are worth picking up. I think they're pretty cool books. Moving to the next set. Hellboy, Seed of Destruction number 1. This is a really cool book. This pretty much, I believe, tells the origin of Hellboy and when he was found. Similar to the way the movie does. The Nazis messing around and Rasputin and all that stuff. So it's definitely an interesting purchase. Definitely something worth getting. Got it for like maybe $2. So if you can find it for that price, get it. Okay. Yes, I got this book too. I I know a few of you out there were getting this book because it's technically the first appearance of X23 in a test tube. So yeah, I had to go quickly get it too. This was actually brought to my attention. Someone was watching one of my videos and left a comment saying, I thought X23 made her first appearance in Wolverine 80. And I was like, what? So I did a little research and I found out, well, technically the test tube that said X23 on it was the first, showed up in this issue. But I still believe that NYX number 3 is the first appearance of the character X23. But I just went out and grabbed this one just in case. So you might want to pick it up if it's cheap. You could find these very cheap all over, both on the internet and in comic book stores. So it's definitely worth checking out. Savage She-Hulk number 1, the first appearance of the She-Hulk. Saw this at my local comic book store for $15. Grabbed it. It's I think it's a 6. Actually, it's a 5.5. Yeah, it's got some issues with it, but it's an all in all a decent copy. I wouldn't spend big bucks on the Savage She-Hulk number 1. I saw it for $15. I said, what the hell? You can't go wrong. So those of you that don't have it already, looking to possibly pick it up, if you see it for a good price, I'd say it's worth it. Dark Horse Presents number 10. This is technically the first appearance of the Mask, the character that Jim Carrey played in the movie of the same name. But here, though, it's spelled this way. I believe there's another issue that came out maybe a year or two after this one where he was actually more closely resembled the character that Jim Carrey played. But technically, this is his first appearance in Dark Horse Presents number 10. I was on an indies kick, I was trying to stay away from Marvel for a while. Not that I have anything against Marvel, of course, but I was trying to build up some of my DCs and my other independent and other party comic book publishing characters and books. So that was one of the ones I wanted to get. Swamp Thing number 1. This was a book I wanted to get for a few months now. I just couldn't find the right price, and I found this for a really good price at my local comic book store and picked it up. I saw it at the convention, the New York Comic Con, and I saw it at another store a few weeks before that, and they wanted way too much money for it, and for what they wanted, the book wasn't even in great shape. So I saw this, looked at it, I gave it a 7.5. It's really sharp copy, really nice. I know a lot of people out there, and I think I even mentioned this before, a lot of people want to get high grades, and there's nothing wrong with getting high grades, but sometimes you got to ask yourself if it's really worth spending the money on high grades. If you have the money and you're really dedicated to it, I think it's a great thing. Go for it. But there's nothing wrong with solid mid-grade to high mid-grade books, especially since there can be such a big difference in price between like a 7 and an 8, or from an 8 to a 9.4 and so forth. So you got to really ask yourself, is it worth spending the money on? Is it worth getting? And so forth. For me, getting a 9.0 or an 8.5, if the price isn't right, it's just not worth it for Swamp Thing. Okay. Got a couple of books I'm going to show you in one shot. Continuing with getting books from different companies other than Marvel and DC, I got this one right here. Creatures of the Id number 1. Now this is the first appearance of a character named Frank Einstein, who later became Madman. This was a book I was looking for at the Comic-Con and nobody had it. And so many people, when I asked them, do you have Creatures of the Id, when I didn't see it on the wall, or if I really didn't have the patience looking through all the long boxes, when I would ask some of the vendors, dealers, if they had this book, they looked at me like what? What? I would say about a good 90% of the dealers at the New York Comic Con that I asked did not even know what this book was. There were a few that did, and obviously didn't have it, or said they didn't bring it with them. But This is a book, if you could find it, I would recommend picking it up. It's a little pricey. You could probably get it anywhere between $50 to a little over $100, but I would recommend picking it up. It's the first appearance, like I said, of the character that later became Madman, but it seems like it's quite scarce. I mean, I don't know. I read some message boards online, some people saying that, well, maybe it's not so scarce. People are just hoarding it, keeping it. Maybe. But this is definitely a book worth getting. Now, let me just slide this over. Continuing with my Madman collection, I got Graphic Music #1, which is another book I highly recommend you getting. I believe it's in this issue he first became Madman. Madman #1, I believe this was his first series. It was 1 of 3 little mini-series. This is the second printing of that issue. And then, boom, Madman Comics #1. So I went all out with Madman. He's a really cool character. And if you have the opportunity to pick some of these up, if you don't have them already, and you get them at a good price, I'd say go for it. But definitely be on the lookout for that Creatures of the Id. This is... yeah, this is like really one of the books that I'm really happy to have in my collection. Alright, we're winding down now. Now we're getting back to DC. As you know, I already have the Detective Comics 359, but I could never read it because it's in a protective case. So I saw this for $2 and I figured, oh, let me get this. And this is my reader's copy for that book. Detective Comics 523, I believe this is a cameo of Jason Todd. It's in decent shape. Detective Comics 574. This is the first appearance of the new Deadshot. Like these books right here, I'm just showing, they're relatively cheap, you know, and their first appearances, you know, I recommend you getting them, you know. A lot of those Batman characters, whether they're villains or allies, heroes, whatever, a lot of them are hard to get because they're expensive, you know, going back in the 60s and the 50s and especially the 40s, of course. So if you have a chance to get some of these books, like the new Deadshot, the new Robin, all these characters, I recommend you getting them because they are key issues in their own right. Here we go. Detective Comics 575. And this one might be picking up too pretty soon. Detective Comics 742. This is the first appearance of a character that's on that new Gotham TV show, Crispus Allen, Renee Montoya's partner. He makes his first appearance in this issue. So this is one I would definitely be on the lookout to get. And especially the first appearance of Harvey Bullock. Now, I already have that one, but maybe somebody could answer this for me in the comments section. I am led to believe that Harvey Bullock first showed up in Batman 361. But there are some internet sources that say he showed up in Detective Comics 441. I don't know which one's true. I've read a lot that say it's actually Batman 361, and I've read others that say it's Detective Comics 441. There's about a 10-year gap between those books, I believe. So if anybody has the actual answer, please let me know because I'm very interested. I have the Batman 361, but I don't have the Detective 441. Either one, if they're both, you know, whatever one's right, I would recommend getting it because, you know, Harvey Bullock's on the new Gotham show, so, you know, his first appearance is going to be skyrocketing. Okay, this one is from the last comic book haul, the New York Con. I said this was the first appearance of the ventriloquist. Well, I was wrong. That was a mistake upon my part. I was actually about 100 issues off. This is actually the first appearance of the Iceberg Lounge, the lounge that Penguin operates out of. This is Detective Comics 583, the first appearance of the ventriloquist. So that was an error upon my part. Sorry if I misled some of you, but I just wanted to make sure to point that out. Now, this is the Iceberg Lounge. No wonder I only got it for $2. But this, and I didn't spend that much money on this one. But this is the first appearance of the ventriloquist in Scarface. Detective Comics 583. This time I'm absolutely certain. Okay. Batman 386. Batman 387. Those of you know, this is the first appearance of Black Mask, and this is the conclusion to the story. This was another book I wanted to get at the Comic-Con, but I decided to go with the modern age Two-Face. I know in the last video I called it the Silver Age Two-Face. I guess the last video I was making a whole bunch of mistakes. I was just so excited to get all those books, and I was just like not thinking straight. And but yes. Yeah, I opted to get that one instead, which was a better buy, but I sort of wanted to get this one too. But I wound up getting it not too long later for a decent price, and this was really cheap. I got this for like $3, and I think it's in really good shape. Oh, I didn't grade it yet, but from when I put it in the new bag, it looked like it was in pretty good shape. But yeah, not bad. First appearance of Black Mask. Okay, the last two. Finally, I was able to get the first appearance of Jason Todd. Now, once again, another, hiccup from my last video. I found out that I didn't get the first appearance of Jason Todd. I wound up getting the wrong issue. I didn't check when the guy handed it to me, the vendor at the Comic-Con. I thought he was giving me the first appearance of Jason Todd. I wasn't really familiar with what the cover looked like. So this is another mistake I made from last video that I was able to correct fairly quickly. Yes, this is the first appearance of Jason Todd, who many of you know or don't know, went on to become the next Robin, who proved to be pretty unpopular, and that's why they had the Joker beat him to death with a crowbar. According to the fans wanted that. Fans opted to have Robin killed, from what I heard in some sort of survey. So they did. But yeah, I was very happy to get this book, and I'd like to correct another error I made a couple of videos ago. This is also, I believe, the first appearance of Killer Croc. Now, the Batman 358 that I showed, I believe that's the first full appearance of Killer Croc. I showed that one a few videos back, but I think this is his true first appearance. So it's a double whammy with this one. You got the first appearance of Jason Todd and the first appearance of Killer Croc, but it's only a cameo. And last but certainly not least, Caliper presents number 1, 8.5 off-white to white pages, the first appearance of this character, the Crow. Surprisingly, I got this for a really cheap price, and at 8.5, which I think is a great grade. But I got it for a really good price. But I've seen copies of the Crow miniseries, Crow number 1 to be in particular. I saw them at some comic book stores and at the Comic-Con that were selling for way more money than this. I don't understand why. This is his first appearance. But I guess that Crow miniseries, I forget how many issues it was, maybe 1 through 5 or 1 through 4, 1 through 6, something like that. I think that's where the movie is based on. The movie that came out in '94. I think a movie borrows a lot, if not all, from that miniseries. So maybe that's why those books are a little more pricey than this. But I heard they're doing a remake for The Crow. I don't know when it's coming out. So naturally, those issues that I was just talking about are probably going to go up in value, maybe. But I think this is going to go up in value. So those of you that don't have it, I would recommend getting it before the prices get really ridiculous. It's cool. I like the Crow. I'm glad I got his first appearance, but for some reason I look at this cover and I'm like, this is a really shitty cover. I mean, that's just me. It's my opinion. Maybe some of you out there don't agree, but this looks like a comic. Well, the cover at least. It looks like the cover to a comic that you would get for free if you bought the Wizard magazine back in the early 90s. It just doesn't look like... Now, if they had this cover, that would be awesome. But this one looks just like your generic muscle-bound person fighting whomever. It just doesn't... It's just not appealing to me. It looks kind of cheap. and they put red ink over here. You could barely read it, so I don't know. It's just, maybe I'm just being geeky and picky. If I am, so be it. Well, thank you for watching my Comic Haul video number 5. Comic Haul 6 video should be out within the next few weeks because I'm still purchasing books and looking to get some books. And like with Comic Haul video 3, the Halloween themed one, where I said I had some really nice books planned for that one, I got some really cool books planned for number 6. Once again with Batman, so you might want to check that one out. It's gonna be one of the best ones if everything goes according to plan, of course. It's gonna be one of my best videos. After that, who knows? Well, thank you for watching. Leave comments. Send me an email if you have any questions. But thanks again to all of you watching my videos. I really appreciate it. And I make these videos not only to showcase what I have, but it's for fellow comic book collectors that love to show off their comics and just don't want to keep them in these boxes in the closet forever. We like to look at them, and we like to share with fellow comic book collectors. So thanks again for watching. Take care.